Why do some find it easier to romanticize past injustices rather than face current realities? Unpack the disturbing nostalgia for regular police brutality and its implications for Black Americans
A
today.
white woman by the name of Carrie Ottoson has found herself in a lot of
The
trouble.
video opens with the controversy surrounding Carrie Ottoson, a white woman caught in a storm of backlash over her social media post that seemingly downplays the gravity of police brutality against Black Americans. This situation underscores a deep-seated societal issue where insensitive remarks amplify racial tensions, especially when they trivialize systemic violence. Historical patterns show similar controversies often lead to public outcry and professional consequences. Ottison's case highlights the peril of thoughtless online commentary in an age of heightened racial awareness.
Well, she took to her Threads feed and made the following post. Can we just go back to regular police brutality, please? Now, I saw that being posted all over Twitter or X,
The
right?
details of Ottison's social media post bring to light her desire to revert to regular police brutality, a statement that appears to reflect a dangerous nostalgia for racially biased law enforcement practices. This commentary provokes critical examination of public attitudes towards race and justice. The perception of police brutality as normal for Black Americans indicates a normalization of violence that must be actively contested. This incident resonates with broader dialogues around systemic racism in America.
And people are like, what? Because we know what regular police brutality is, right? It's of Black Americans. That's the regular, right? American is apple pie, police brutality. And she wants to go back to that again because ICE is doing what they're doing to people who are not Black Americans, right? And we've seen white people get it. And when I say get it, like the final it,
Public
right?
response was swift, primarily via social media platforms like X, formerly Twitter, showcasing the collective voice against ignorance and bigotry. Ottison's post served as a lightning rod, igniting discourse on the cavalier attitudes some hold towards institutionalized racism. Social media users often act as watchdogs, scrutinizing public figures and enforcing social accountability, which can lead to rapid responses from employers and collaborators distancing themselves from controversial statements.
So it's blowing a lot of people's minds to see that. So Carrie wants to go back to regular police brutality so that everybody was on her bumper. Because, when people get to talking like that, they find out where they work and all that. Sounds like she's a yoga teacher. Maybe she's an actress or trying to be anyway, and things like that. It sounds like, too, she shut down all of her pages because the heat got hot. Well, this is what she said. I'm sorry for the hurt I caused. My post came out of frustration at the state of the world that we find ourselves in, not toward any race. I did what I thought was appropriate and removed the offending post and apologized profusely for the harm and recognize it's not an excuse. If people spent more time, myself included, going after people with legitimate power who cause actual malicious harm instead of a nobody who tries to be a decent person who made a mistake and owns it. It's like, well, yeah, I get it. You're just a person, right? Per what you're
Carrie
saying.
Ottison's apology illustrates the common cycle of public figures navigating backlash, expression of regret followed by damage control. Her acknowledgement of harm and focus on systemic power acknowledges the gravity of her words but raises questions about sincerity and awareness. Apologies in public discourse are valued when they translate to learning and advocacy. Such scenarios often test whether involved parties will evolve their understanding of social justice issues or retreat into defensiveness.
And yes, people should go after the system, but that is why we should always think before we post, right? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad has said, especially to us, think 5 times before you speak. And I like to add, think 5 times before you think 5 times, before you act, and now think 5 times before you post, because we are at that point, Carrie, right? And I know you white, and I don't know what you're used to posting, maybe because, your page is shut down, maybe you do yoga stuff and all of that, but on that particular day, you just felt like you wanted to see some good old-fashioned police brutality. And so now you're mad because people are calling you out. Did you think you should say stuff like that? And people be like, yes, Carrie, you are absolutely right. Let's get back to where we could turn on the news and see a black man be unalived in the middle of the street for 10 minutes by a police officer with his knee on his neck. Yes, let's, turn on the news so we could see about a 12-year-old boy, Tamir Rice, losing his life for playing with a toy gun. Yeah, let's get back to that, right? Let's get back to where we can see Rodney King get batons all over his body nonstop, most viciously and savage. And, let's get back to that kind of stuff, right? That's what she's saying. And maybe she didn't, consciously think that, but subconsciously it's there. And it's there for a lot of people. And Carrie ain't the only one. There's a whole lot of them who are wishing for the good old-fashioned police brutality. See, because when it happens, because it's not like it's gone away, but when it happens to black folks, it's like, oh, well, it gets sad. Hopefully they get justice. I wonder if they do to deserve it, because I'm sure, they didn't show us everything. If y'all didn't know, that's my impression of a white woman. But good old-fashioned police brutality, that's crazy. But you know what? At least she's honest. She's just one of the few that's willing to say it out loud. But see, when you say stuff like that, it kind of come back on you. Because from what I understand too, she lost a couple of them gigs that she got. So I get it. You're sorry, but maybe you should think before you say stuff like that. Because there's real consequences to the good old-fashioned police brutality. There's a lot of people that look like me that are the victims of that. And they didn't think that it was good or old-fashioned, or that they wouldn't have wanted to be a victim of that. So anyway, y'all let me know what you think of that. And for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel, The Demetri K Show, here on YouTube. Peace.
The incident builds on a narrative that the racialized history of policing in America cannot be trivialized. While Ottison's post was one woman's misstep, it symbolizes a broader societal struggle with racial truths and accountability. Such rhetoric perpetuates harmful stereotypes and has repercussions for professional lives, exemplified by Ottison's loss of work opportunities. Viewers should watch for how this reflects broader systemic critiques and whether those involved become advocates for change or recede into silence.